Ms. Owings, I want to talk to you about the largest single-site operation in Homeland Security investigations history. It was a raid on the Hyundai Meta plant in Georgia in September, which resulted in the detention of approximately 475 workers. Can you discuss the Hyundai plant raid in Georgia and what happened to the people working in the plant?
Yes, thank you, Congressman. I can. I represented 54 of those individuals for their detention process. After they were detained, I was contacted regarding their individual needs, so I do have some knowledge of the situation and can speak to it.
And can you describe this plant? It's not yet open, but tell me about the plant, the physical dimensions.
It's massive. The only thing I can compare it to is probably the U.S. Mall outside. It's about the size of the U.S. Mall. It's a massive facility that's opening up. It's going to bring a lot of jobs to Georgia. I understand 8,100 jobs is the promise from the employers.
So the intention is 8,100 jobs for Americans that live in Georgia. And billions of dollars were invested by Hyundai to build this plant.
That's correct. It's a joint venture between Hyundai and LG, and it is a billion-dollar operation.
And so tell me more about these workers that came from South Korea. And I understand also there was a Japanese national among these workers as well.
Yes, there were a few other nationalities that I dealt with, including, I believe, Indonesia. However, everyone that I worked with, they were all here lawfully. They were all here on visas that were appropriate for the status that they needed to have in relation to what their role was at the facility at the time they were there.
So one gets the impression that ICE thought they really got a tip here. They were going to bust illegal workers here, but in fact, they were all the 475 workers were all here legally. Why were they here? Why were they sent here?
The individuals that I worked with were here because they're highly specialized engineers, people who are skilled at programming the equipment that would be later used by people who don't know how to do this work. It's not skills that we have in manufacturing here domestically, so we have to have people come and set that up. And create the patterns that will then be used by domestic workers.
So they were there to stand up the plant as quickly as possible so
Correct.
The plant could get operational so that American workers could work there.
That's exactly right. It was not, they were not building the facility with like hammers and blowtorches. They were there to program the brains of the operation and make sure quality assurance was ready to go when the plant opened.
So let me get this straight. Billions of dollars were invested by a foreign company to build a plant in America so that 8,000 American workers would have jobs. About 475 workers were sent here from with highly skilled capacities to stand up this plant as quickly as possible so we could get these people working. Did these workers return after they were sent out?
So I understand the last I heard about 30 individuals have returned because they simply cannot complete the opening of this facility without the specialized knowledge that these individuals have. So some of them have returned. I understand there is also a lot of fear from South Korean nationals about the idea of coming to work in a place where they may be arrested simply for doing their job and following the law.
So these policies have hurt our ability. These immigration policies the immigration enforcement policies have hurt our ability to attract this sort of investment in our country to produce American jobs. Trump's immigration enforcement is harming Americans. It's harming Americans, legal immigration, and American businesses. President Trump's immigration crackdown makes no distinction for those who are here legally. The South Koreans spent billions of dollars to invest in the United States, and roughly 8,000 American jobs stood to be made and still stand to be made. We need this expertise in countries like South Korea to bring workers to help train American workers for the skill transfer to help our economy. This is difficult to accomplish when people around the world are scared to come here. Thank you for your testimony and thank you for your work, Ms. Owens, and I yield back.